all over again.
All set? Like to call to order this meeting, the Broome County Industrial Development Agency of July 19th, 2023. Looking for an approval of the minutes of our June 21st, 23 board meeting. Motion to approve. Thank you, Dan.
Second.
Thank you, Elaine. Any discussion? Have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to the public comment session. Anybody wishing to speak on any matter concerning the IDA, please feel free and state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes if you will. Janzini raise his hand? No, I don't think so. I thought he did. We'll close this public comment session. Executive Director's report, Stacy.
Yes, I'm gonna keep this one pretty quick today. I just wanted to make you aware, as you know, we've been involved with a partnership with Broome County for the Broome County COVID recovery grant. That was about $1 million in funding in community development block grant funds or CDBG funds to provide to area businesses as they were continuing to deal with financial losses due to COVID. The requirements was just demonstration of about a 1% loss, which was not hard to do for many businesses here in town. I just wanted to give you an update. We're nearing closing that grant out. It was about a $950,000 grant in total because we were able to keep $50,000 of that for administrative fees. We've provided grant assistance to 16 businesses with a total grant amount thus far about $798,368. The spectrum of businesses include arts organizations, recreations, restaurants, taverns, hospitality, salons, food delivery, signage, businesses, landscaping companies, and exercise and energy sector companies. So this was definitely a program where we tried to reach a broad spectrum of businesses in town. We have about $151,000 of funds remaining, which have been allocated and will be finalized by the end of the month, thus essentially closing this program out. We do have a short LDC meeting on this, and we will hopefully approve funding for 3 of those grants. And to date, we've received about $36,000 in administrative fees, and we'll be invoicing for the remaining funds. So my thanks to Brendan, and Roy's been a help on this process. Brendan's been shepherding these, a lot of paperwork, a lot of time involved with the state, kind of back and forth, submit it like this and then nope, submit it like that. So it's been a long process, but we were thrilled to be able to help that many businesses in town. Amy did provide a marketing and community development report for you. I don't know if you want to just give a 2-minute synopsis of any of the high points of that program. As you know, we continue to work with Rieger on targeted display ads to get our services out the door. So Amy, if you want to just give a very quick review of how we're doing on that.
I'll check some of our bigger notes for this quarter. So this captures everything from April through June. I really want to draw our attention to, so once again, we're running our targeted display ads, which is those ads that you see when you're just out and about on the internet that pop up. We're running our search engine marketing, and we're running our LinkedIn campaign again. So these are the ads that we typically run each quarter. Our search engine marketing has been continuing to grow since we first invested in it over a couple of years ago now. We are now at our highest record click-through rates. So a standard for the industry is about 1.91%. And in this quarter, we had a 3.68, a 4.7, and a 4.93%. So we're definitely having folks, who are Googling things like best places to relocate their business, or, places with a work-life balance, these sort of key terms that we pulled out. And they're clicking right on the agency's page, which is really exciting to see. You can see in the presentation, there's an example of what that SEM actually looks like. So it says small businesses, we got you business relocation services. So it's been very PR&D focused. Other things I do want to point out as well is Google Analytics has shifted to a newer version of itself. So I've been able to get a little bit more into the deep dive about how we are getting the folks who are coming to our website. And so just to kind of tip our hat at Rieger, 57.8% of our website traffic is directly related to Rieger's ads that they are placing. So that includes all three, the targeted display, the LinkedIn, the SEM, and then from there, it's organic searches. So people who are looking up us through Google, who may already know who we are, direct, so folks who are just typing it in, and then referrals and socials, which is just like the Broome County website, our social media, our email campaigns. So it's definitely very interesting. We also have a very nice view time on our pages. So industry standard is about 53 seconds, and folks when they come to our website are about 1 minute and 30 seconds, which might not seem like a ton of time. But you know, when you're flipping through a website, you don't recognize how quickly you're actually going through these pages. So folks are really sitting down and reading our content. And once again, it's our business retention and expansion page. That is our most popular. So that's all exciting stuff.
Mhm. So we're continuing to tailor those right now. As Amy mentioned, we're focused a lot on BRE. I will note, we do have a healthy loan fund availability. So as you're talking with small businesses, clients, et cetera, we do have some funds that we are able to loan. I just want to turn your attention real quickly on our financial. We had, just note what you don't see, we did receive the canopy, the full payment in July. So those will show up in July, not June. We received the payment, went to Joe's escrow account, and that payment was received to us in this month. So it'll show.
How much was that?
It was about $366,000, I think. So, yes, and as well, the town, the county, and the school board were also paid in full, any of that delta on what the full tax would have been. So they've all been made whole and paid out. So that will show in next month's financials. And that's all I had.
Thank you, Stacy. Any questions for Stacy or Amy? Amy, who pulls down those stats that you're referring to?
So it's a mixture of both. So I go into and I manage our Google Analytics account. So I pull out all of our website statistics, and then advertising, reader providing the report. I just also wanted to bring up, we still have not had any luck yet with the newest metric that we're trying to track, the view throughs. If everyone remembers, that's when someone clicks on our ad the first time, our ad services remember who they are, and we try to target them again, and they hopefully will click on the ad a second time. Unfortunately, we've not had that luck, part and parcel because we use the same creative for both. That's something we talked about when we first started that campaign. But at this time, we're not looking at developing a second view through creative. Right now, we're just looking at new LinkedIn creative, as we're closing out the partnership with the ARC grant that we've been working on for collaborative recovery.
Any other questions? Thank you both very much. Loan activity report. Any questions for Natalie? Natalie, you want to offer any comments?
We did have another loan client pay off Bernice Brews LLC. It was roughly a little over $7,000.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, resolution approving, number 6, resolution approving the extension of the September 1st, 2021 sales and use tax exemption agreement with Spark JC LLC from August 18th, 2023 through and including August 18th, 2024, the total of which shall not exceed $3,093,333. Stacy.
Yes, so this is a request for an extension of time on that sales tax benefit to Spark JC, who is doing the work at the Oakdale Commons. The request is for an additional year to use that sales tax benefit. The reason being, as they near completion with the Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sport, there's still a lot of work to be done with the BJ's wholesale facility located at the former Bonton, and as well, there's finalizing details for the construction of the Dave and Buster's. So a lot of moving parts on this one, so just the additional time is being requested. And Alexandra Davis with Spark JC is here if you have questions for her.
Thank you, Stacy. Mayor,
We move it forward as a motion to approve.
is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Joe. Any discussion or questions? So we'll vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on to item number 7, Stacy, we're gonna skip over that one.
Yes, reason being is, as you know, item number 7 was the consideration for approval of benefit for the Apex project at at Water Street, which was the construction of a podium to be constructed on top of a parking garage and the construction of 120 market rate apartments on top of that podium. Because the structure of this pilot was not our typical, because a portion of the pilot payment was being diverted from the taxing entities to pay down the cost of the infrastructure or that podium. Because of that structure, it does require the approval of all affected taxing jurisdictions. The city of Binghamton City Council did approve this on July 5th. Last evening, the city of Binghamton School Board met. They did vote no on the structure of that pilot, so it does not advance to us for consideration at this stage. I will be meeting with the mayor's office as well as the development team of United to discuss potential next steps. So there is a potential that this will come back to the board in a different format to be determined.
Thank you. Stacy, any questions? for
Well,
Stacy on
the
that?
sad reality here is just that this is a piece of property off the tax roll. And so the pilot is all new money for all the taxing entities, especially the school district. The fact that dynamic just didn't seem to resonate because it's just all positive revenue for them.
Yeah, over the term of the pilot, there would have been, there is proposed to be about 2 million in new tax revenue to the city of Binghamton School District and an additional close to 2 million for the city of Binghamton as well. There is a proposed $1 million air rights payment to cover the cost of the ongoing maintenance of the parking garage. The economic impact of the project over the term of the pilot was projected to be somewhere between 36 and 38 million. So there's a lot of positive economic benefit of this project. We will regroup and go back to the drawing board.
So Stacy, the mayor has made it very clear that he's gonna build a parking ramp there one way or another.
Yeah.
And, regardless of what happens with the housing, is it clear, do you get the impression that the board members are clear that if that happens, they're never gonna see a dime of tax revenue, ever?
We provided we were sent about 30 plus questions that really were to be answered by a combination of both the city and the IDA. For us, more on the process, and for the city, the more specifics on the pilot. So all of that was outlined in the answers to our questions. I think right now the question we have to figure out is the construction of the podium is obviously essential to any current or future development of housing at this location, whether it's United or some other entity. The construction of that podium is critical to determine if that is part of the current costs for the garage, because I think they're so integrated that I don't know that you can go back and add that at a later time. So that is a question we're going to be meeting to discuss. How does that impact the cost of that roughly $4.5 million construction podium construction? How does that relate to future development? This is unique for our area. This is done in other communities. But certainly the ability to build up on top of an existing structure does provide a lot of benefits. As the mayor noted, there's not currently any tax dollars associated with that.
Right, so somebody needs to really drive that point home to them that, first, the thing that there's never gonna be any tax revenue there. Also, that there is no risk to the taxpayers. Regardless of what John Solek has to say about it or anybody else. I'm sorry, but there really isn't. And the risks are borne by the developer.
Plus the catalyst for revitalizing downtown Binghamton is invaluable. What that would do for revitalizing the urban core, it's priceless.
Okay, so what was their issue? I mean, was there an overwhelming issue they had, or?
The questions that we received in advance and the questions that were asked were all, very logical questions related to the structure of the agreements between the Water Street Garage LLC and how the ownership, all questions that that I would be asking if I were on the school board, related to us on risk and an affirmation there is recourse. I noted, we did this recently. We did make the taxing jurisdictions whole with Canopy. So there is recourse. We unfortunately, we can't guarantee the market dynamics on any project, whether it's real estate or industrial. I think, the general consensus from those in attendance was that it wasn't addressing the immediate needs for affordable housing. It was never intended to, the project was never proposed to do that. It was that being said, we have, I know a number of affordable housing projects in the pipeline right now in the city of Binghamton that are dynamic and stellar developers like Ken Carney. So, I noted our work on supporting both affordable housing projects as well as market rate projects. So, it's unfortunate that, I understand where the arguments are coming from, and I agree there is a need for a comprehensive conversation on housing, but the continuum of housing needs ranges from to, everything to the market rate and as you noted, a centerpiece location for the city. So, we'll go back to the drawing board on this and see what we can do, and I will keep the board updated.
Stacy, if the project, the apartment project is not approved, will in the building of the parking garage, will they still do the additional support so that it would be possible for some time in the future that structure to
do that.
handle the additional weight for something like that?
I don't want to answer out of turn, but I would assume, and I'm gonna look at you, Dan, the footers and the way the construction of the garage has to be designed in such a way, and I'm speaking a little bit over my head, would have to support that if the goal is to add housing atop that location at some point in time. And that was what was unique about the structure with the increment financing to pay down the pilot bond is it enables you to build
Because there is
for future,
additional expense
that
to
growth.
beef up the foundation.
And that would become right now the city's obligation, which is
Yeah,
is
that's
a
what
question
I'm
of
saying.
whether they can absorb it or not.
Yeah,
That's the question.
What they do, right?
Yeah,
Spend the money now for
right,
something may happen or may not.
right.
Questions that hopefully we'll get
We'll get
answers
answers. I
to.
hope so. I
Yeah,
hope to have
well-
some answers today. We're gonna regroup later today.
Keep us posted,
I
please.
will.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Moving onward to item number 8, resolution accepting an application from Crowley Factory Lofts LLC, the company, for a leaseback transaction to facilitate the financing of the renovation and equipping of the property and building located at 135 Conklin Avenue and 149 Conklin Avenue, located in the city of Binghamton, Broome County, New York, to provide for a sales and use tax exemption benefit in an amount not to exceed $301,114, to provide for a mortgage tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $67,424, to provide for a real property tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $2,046,281, and authorizing the agency to set and conduct a public hearing with respect hereto. Stacy.
Yes, so moving over to the south side of the city of Binghamton, you have an application for review for the Crowley Factory Lofts project. At the point today is just the acceptance of the application for the purpose of inducing our public hearing. This project, the Crowley Factory Lofts, is the renovation and redevelopment of the former Crowley Dairy Company, which many of us are familiar with on the city's south side. It is a 73,000 square foot former dairy company that was built in the early 1900s. The property was transferred to HP Hood in 2004 until it operated there until 2012. 2013, the building was purchased by Mountain Fresh Dairy. And unfortunately, after a failed attempt to revive the dairy plant, the building had sat idle since 2017. This project, located, as was mentioned, at 149 and 135 Conklin Ave, will restore the building's second and third floors with a combination of 1 and 2 bedroom market rate housing units with a total square footage of approximately 44,433. It'll be a combination of 1 bedrooms.
One bedroom with studies, 2 bedrooms, and there are 2 units that are a 2-floor loft.
Okay, and I apologize, Patrick Van Putty is here representing Crowley Factory Lofts. The city is also a partner on this project as the sponsor of a successful $2 million New York State Restore grant that will be allocated to this project. The Crowley Factory Lofts will include additional 10,000 square feet in flexible commercial space and an additional 14,000 square feet of parking and storage space. Total number of units, housing units would be 48 housing units with 59 parking spots. And the project will provide a refresh to a underutilized property on the city south side. You do have in your packet schematics of the project, including internal renderings of what the apartment layouts will look like. You also have a project review form that outlines the benefits. The proposal is for a standard, I will say, 20-year operational pilot. It does provide the 2-year ramp up for construction with a 20-year operational pilot. That has been provided to you in your packet as well. Total exemptions on the project are roughly $2,414,819. That would include a mortgage recording and a sales tax benefit as well. You also have a cost benefit analysis in your packet that demonstrates a strong cost benefit ratio. Approximate total local and state benefit is just shy of $12 million. It's with a 6-to-1 ratio, which is a very strong ratio on this project. Anticipated construction jobs. I'm not going to call them temporary anymore, Dan, just construction jobs are about 92. I said, we're going to take that right off our form. 92 construction jobs with a local spend of roughly $13.5 million there. Direct and indirect jobs total at 7. As you know, housing projects are not huge job creators, but they are economic impact projects. With that, again, the purpose for today is to accept and advance the application to a public hearing. If there's any questions, again, Patrick Van Putty's here. I think John's not. Okay. If you have questions on the project.
Mayor,
Governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
is there a second? Thank you, Dan. Any discussion, questions?
No, I think, like we were talking about downtown, this is gonna revitalize the south side, and I think the spin-off impact over there is gonna be substantial. I think it's just gonna be a great project for the south side of the city of Binghamton.
Any other questions or comments?
I second that.
So what we're doing is resolving to call for a public hearing and accept the application. Let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Item number 9. I'll have to explain this one.
Yeah, so this is really an administrative snafu on our part, and I apologize. I should
Let me read the
have
resolution.
caught that, yes.
It's like won't go away.
I know, right?
So number 9.
Yeah.
Resolution amending a resolution adopted by the agency on June 21st, 2023. Authorizing a leaseback transaction to facilitate the acquisition, renovation, and equipping of property located at 47 through 51 Pine Camp Drive in the town of Kirkwood, Broome County, New York, to be used as a warehouse wholesale facility for the storage of electrical materials and supplies, and appointing GMS Realty LLP, a Vermont limited liability partnership doing business in New York as GMS Realty Partners LLC, the company, agent of the agency for the purpose of acquiring, renovating, and equipping the project, and to provide for a sales and use tax exemption benefit in an amount not to exceed $184,120, and to provide for a real property tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $6,647,409, including authorizing a payment in lieu of tax agreement deviating from the agency's uniform tax exemption policy a copy of which is attached here to as Exhibit A and authorizing the execution and delivery of certain documents with respect
Okay.
thereto. By the way, they hired me for this purpose. Just to be clear. I use that.
You have such a nice reading. Yeah.
With that in mind.
This
please
is, and
explain
again,
on the,
I apologize, yes, I just like to hear you read that. This was an oversight on my part, I apologize. It's a newer requirement, but we are required in the body of our resolutions to provide the exact dollar amount of the benefit. And somehow last month, it just, we didn't notice that we omitted that. We blame Joe.
Nice
Just
one.
blame Joe if all
Joe,
else
just sitting
fails.
there.
He's not here. Might as well blame him.
So in order to rectify that, the resolution is provided to you now with the exact dollar amount of the benefit that has been provided to the company. Project is moving forward as planned, everything is good. Just we did not want to have an erroneous resolution ever.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, so,
Further point of clarification,
Yeah.
the name was different in June, GMS Realty LLC, and now it's GMS Realty Partners. Do we know that it's GMS Realty Partners?
See you next month.
we can fix that now.
Just to make sure we
Good
got
catch.
this.
Yeah,
Very good
no, thank
Because I don't
you.
want to read this again next month.
Yeah,
It is
Can we-
LLP.
I happen to read the minutes.
GMS Realty LLP.
Pick up on that.
Natalie, is that correct?
It is, yeah. Not partners.
So get rid of partners.
We're gonna
I
get
will,
rid of
I have
parts.
Susan
Yeah.
adjust the actual resolution.
Okay, so it's
Okay,
GMS
that one that we had.
LLP.
Key, yes.
Good
There we
catch,
go.
Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
He's MVP
Okay,
today.
I know.
Peter, you're heading for my
Catch
job.
Oh, wait, no,
Wait.
it is GMS Realty LLP, a Vermont, yeah, no, this is right, GMS Realty Partners.
So is there, in a-
This is correct. It
So is there-
Just how, right, when they, how they're
okay,
doing business in New York.
so every, okay,
So it is partners.
Well, right, when you read it, GMS Realty LLP, a Vermont limited liability partnership doing business in New York as GMS Realty Partners LLC. Company.
So we have it correct.
Yes.
yes, this is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, assuming it's correct,
I will double check.
Disinfecting enough for us to be.
is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all.
I have
Executive
no
session,
executive session.
no purpose.
No.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Dan.
Go
Thank
right
you, Dan.
into
We
2
are
minutes away,
adjourned.
or 2 minutes from LBC. Okay.